There was a point in time in my career when I remember a friend walking up to me and saying, if you don't change the way you dress or if you don't change the way that you present yourself, you'll never get very far in corporate. So fast forward about 2 years from that point, I had an opportunity to move to Oklahoma City to launch a new site with work. And in that time, I took advantage of that advice and I quote unquote sold out and reinvented myself. So I went from blue jeans and t-shirts and headbands at work to dressing in typical corporate fashion with slacks, button-down shirts and all. And it was during that time that not only did everyone else respond well to me, but my career kind of took off a little bit. And so I really didn't sound the way that I wanted to sound. I really didn't speak the way I wanted to speak. I really didn't look the way or act the way that I wanted to. And it was really heavy on me. But I think sometimes that we end up trading happiness for money. And in that moment, I literally sold my soul for money. And so the happiness I was able to just stuff, but as time went on and I acquired more and more things, I ended up putting on more and more masks. And it just simply got to a point where I wasn't the type of person that I wanted to be. People would reach out to me and ask me to mentor them, things like that. And I would give them this ungodly list of things to do in order to have my time. And I honestly knew that there was no way they could get it done. So it was my way of just being a jerk, but in a very nice fashion. And so what I found is that in wearing those masks, I was pleasing everyone else around me, and I was just getting heavier and heavier. It even got to the point where I was wearing a fake Breitling watch, one of those $50 specials from Chinatown. And I remember one time specifically going through the airport and someone noticed the watch and I felt so good on the outside, but I knew I was a fraud on the inside. And he asked me something about it. He said, "Hey man, that's an Evo, isn't it?" And of course I'd done all my research and I knew everything about it and I played the part really well. And we had this great conversation. And if you were an onlooker, you'd be pretty impressed. But if you were me, you were simply dying on the inside. Fast forward maybe 2 months later, I remember I was having a conversation with someone else and they looked at me and said, "Is that a knockoff?" And I pivoted really quick and tried to backpedal on it, but I, in that moment, just died and I was absolutely crushed because my biggest fear at that point was being found out. And so what I've learned to do since then, more specifically in the last few years, is simply just be myself, accept myself for who I am, love myself unconditionally, know that I'm worthy, know that I didn't have to reach out and pretend to be something that I wasn't. Know that I'm good enough as I am today. And as you see, the result is I get to be who I want, when I want, where I want, because there simply is just one version of me and it's the very best there is.